What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the film room. Today we're going to be talking about a pet peeve of mine, and that is DeMarcus Lawrence slander. Still cannot to this day understand why he gets slandered so much. Out of all the guys on the defense, why we pick him sometimes. Personally, I think he deserves every penny. And if you still don't think that, then I am here to educate you today. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you stick around. If you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button. So close to 2,000 subscribers. Appreciate that so much out of you guys. And yeah, with that being said, let's go on and get into it, and let me educate you about some DeMarcus Lawrence. So yeah, just gonna let it play out for you guys. It still surprises me how we have people saying that DeMarcus Lawrence is not worth the money that he is getting paid when he can be taking over games like this. Just right here, swimming inside, getting into the backfield quick. I understand that the sack numbers aren't going to be up there with a Myles Garrett, but that's not necessarily what you're paying a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence for. Yes, he can get to the quarterback like this with speed, power, and finesse moves, but you're paying a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence from what you're about to see here, and that's getting in the backfield after the ball carrier, literally taking away one side of the field when it comes to running the ball. When teams are running the ball effectively against us, very usually is it opposite of DeMarcus Lawrence. You'll see this play here. They run towards him, immediately gets past Jason Peters, gets in the backfield, and then, of course, we know with DeMarcus Lawrence, the effort factor, and that's another thing about this guy, just never giving up on plays. Effort was a pretty big problem for us this past season. There were times guys like Jalen Smith, Xavier Woods, you could visibly see in their film just not giving their 100% on every play. Xavier Woods was quoted as saying this, which I'm sure is true to some extent in the NFL, but that definitely does not apply to a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence. It just continually shows on his film, never giving up on plays, even if he's out of the play, running down the field and getting there as fast as he can to try and make a play. This play here, this was actually on a 4th and 1, a big turning point in this game, gave us a chance to get some points before the half. You'll see DeMarcus Lawrence just again that speed move inside, kind of jabbing out and then going in. This right tackle was having issues all game with DeMarcus Lawrence and forced the incompletion here. Jumping forward to the second half of this game, and this is once again where you'll see effort come into play. This is a play the defensive end should never be making, but because of the effort and speed of DeMarcus Lawrence, he makes it. This is going to be a little quick screen to Travis Fulgham, and you'll see DeMarcus Lawrence out here read it and then immediately get out there and stop what could have been a decent play for the Philadelphia offense. Just running down a receiver like that, that's something you don't normally see out of a defensive lineman. Getting on to this next play here, just once again, the effort. Just the effort. Not giving up on the play, forcing a fumble, and had this ball stayed in bounds, you to see Anthony Brown benefit off another DeMarcus Lawrence fumble and possibly take this one to the house too. We saw it earlier in the season on that strip sack, the first sack of the season for DeMarcus Lawrence when he got through to Daniel Jones and Anthony Brown housed it. But yeah, guys, just the effort, man. I don't know how DeMarcus Lawrence or why he gets so much hate when he is the guy on our defense that is consistently giving 110% every single play. You're never seeing him quit on plays. You're constantly seeing him chase receivers, running backs all the way down the field, even if it's a big gain. And it pays off in this, making plays like this and have this ball stayed inbounds. This could have been a big play for the Dallas defense and still was a big play nonetheless. I'd say my favorite thing when going back and looking at DeMarcus Lawrence film is plays like these when you have a guard opposite of him pulling into him. He very typically makes them look silly, like on this play. Look at 67, stumble through, almost falls over. Seriously, you could make a montage of DeMarcus Lawrence making pulling guards just look absolutely childish on the field. It's just his quickness once again. He's one of the quickest players on the field, and he's a down lineman, so it makes it even that more impressive. And when you have guys, big old boys, pulling, trying to lay blocks on him, he's very typically too quick for that. And then, of course, just the instincts, making the read, getting around, and then finishing on the play, making the tackle. This here, just another play showing off the instincts of DeMarcus Lawrence. He is responsible for the quarterback on this read option, so if Wentz comes out here, he's going to be responsible for him on the edge. But realizing that Wentz hands the ball off to Clement or Scott, not sure which one this is, and then just coming down the line of scrimmage and then laying the wood at the tail end of this play. Just once again, the instincts, the effort, the hustle, the speed, and then finishing it off with the physicality on the back end, making that running back remember, like, hey, you can try to run away from me the best you can, but I'm still going to use my effort, my speed to get there, and then I'm going to make you remember it with my physicality on this hit. Another thing I often hear people say when looking at DeMarcus Lawrence is, okay, if he is this dominant force against the run, and part of the reason we're paying him so much to stop the run, then why are we still getting gashed against the run? Why are teams like the Browns running for 300 some odd yards against us in a single game? And well, that's for two reasons. One, because DeMarcus Lawrence is only one man. If you're going to try and stop the run, you need all 11 hats, or at least your front seven, coming forward and doing something about it. You can't just have one of those guys consistently doing their job. As you'll see here, DeMarcus Lawrence, his job is to set the edge on this play, and you'll see the interior defensive lineman's job, who's to stuff the middle, get shuffled down towards DeMarcus Lawrence, and then you'll see your linebackers. Leighton Vander Esch, late to react. Jalen Smith gets himself out of position, avoiding a block, and ends up in the same spot as Leighton Vander Esch. Another reason is that as a defensive end, his job is typically to contain and force the ball carrier inside on these inside zone handoffs. So DeMarcus Lawrence, you'll see, like I said, gets his butt turned towards the sideline and tries to force this ball carrier back inside, which he does successfully. However, because the linemen are getting shuffled down the line of scrimmage, the linebackers are late to react and getting themselves out of position, this isn't always the most effective way for DeMarcus Lawrence to help in stopping the run. So you'll often see him making plays where he's getting himself inside instead of really setting the edge to try and make a play, knowing that, hey, if I'm just setting the edge, these guys probably aren't always going to be making the play, and it might bust some. So you'll see him, and in this game, you saw some earlier, getting inside the blocker rather than just turning his butt towards the sideline to make a play. And the problem with that is sometimes it does get him beat, and it sometimes does hurt our defense when it comes to stopping the run, because they'll just run outside of that, knowing that DeMarcus Lawrence is trying to adjust and do too much, if you will. So hopefully next season, someday in the future, we can just have DeMarcus Lawrence set the edge and make plays on the outside and trust our linebackers and interior defensive line to maybe force that ball carrier outside to where you know if DeMarcus Lawrence is there, he's not letting anything go past that point. If he just has to contain, you know he's going to be able to make the play if that ball comes outside. One last thing that I'm tired of DeMarcus Lawrence being slandered for is the sack numbers. 6.5 sacks this year, which one is a pretty solid number. It's nothing to be disappointed about. People are still freaking out, though. Oh, he's not getting to the quarterback. Why is he not getting these sack numbers? We got to stop stat sheet scouting, guys, all right? DeMarcus Lawrence is still applying pressure on the quarterback. When you look at his QB hurries, it ranks in the top 15 in the league. He has the same amount of QB hurries at 14 this past season as Aaron Donald did, and actually had more than Myles Garrett did, and was only about 2 off in that category as Khalil Mack did. So we got to stop saying, oh, just because the sacks aren't there means that he's not an effective pass rusher. DeMarcus Lawrence is still a very effective pass rusher, and of course, that is also a part of the reason that we are paying him an average of about $21 million a year. Well, guys, I hope I was able to provide some insight on this debate as to whether or not DeMarcus Lawrence deserves the money he is getting, and I hope now you can see and agree with me that he indeed does. I cannot emphasize enough the impact that he has on the game and the players around him on the defensive side of the ball. You look at guys like Robert Quinn come in with DeMarcus Lawrence lined up across from him, constantly getting double teams, opening up Robert Quinn on the other side to just use his speed rush and get to the quarterback, and then he gets paid in the offseason. You see him go to the Bears, and he doesn't really have the same results, and that might not be his fault. It could be scheme, whatever it may be, but I definitely think DeMarcus Lawrence is somewhat to a credit for that. And personally, you can take this opinion how you want. I don't think it's a stretch to say that outside of Dak Prescott, DeMarcus Lawrence is the best football player on this team, and he is certainly our best defensive player. So take that for what you will. Zach Martin is definitely another answer that I will accept. And definitely comment below. Let me know what you think of that. And if you think DeMarcus Lawrence is deserving of the money that we are paying him. So that will be the end of this video. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. Definitely make sure to subscribe and like the video. And I will see you on the next one.